That is not the head coach's responsibility. It's the officials, and it's our designated EAP person. They call the cops, they deal with it. We don't need to get involved as teams. We stay invisible. We get our kids away. We split up. You get with your kids away, let it get dealt with. But that's the emergency action plan. I implore you to take that course on, somebody get designated to take the course on NCCP. It's a free online one. Does that help, Dion?
Is there a requirement of what it entails? Like what you should have?
Yeah, there's a checklist. If you go to Football Canada, if you Google Football Canada Emergency Action Plan, it will give you the checklist you have to have.
Yeah, that's good. I just wanted to highlight it a little bit.
I think they covered it, if I remember correctly, they covered the intro to comp also.
I thought that's what it was, but yeah.
They do.
Starting out.
That intro to comp is.
But I just wondered if there was one that was more in depth, because it's kind of lackluster for intro to comp.
Others, we do to help us. From the reference material, the two head coach responsibilities are simply maintains and inventories all equipment and supplies. That just means he should know what's in the first aid kit. If he has a designated first aid person, then he merely needs to ask, is your kit complete? Plans and develops games responsibilities. Minimize people there that might be a distraction if you can. We run a fire drill. Our second Fast 15 is a fire drill. Head coach will scream. He'll scream, so-and-so's down. Get on the knee. Who's coming in from the sideline? Punt, kickoff return, whatever he wants. Subbing in players. He's just basically a maestro for the second Fast 15 of the week that we get prepared. So we kind of try to reduce the operational inefficiencies as they do on the flight deck. It's pretty important to have that wire strung across properly when F-18's dropping on the deck. Scenario, you're the head coach of a U16 community tackle football team with a 3-0 record. Mid-season game versus an 0-3 opponent. You lead 35-0 at half and have not rotated from starters significantly with 36 athletes. Points against may affect playoff standings in the event of a tie. I know last year we faced that. That was brutal, having to go up and play Truro CEC knowing, we were supposed to play them the second game of the season, and putting it off to the end and telling kids that, not everybody's going to get on the field this game, guys. We want you on the bus. You got to get on the bus and support your teammates. But you've all decided as a group that you want to play Tier 1 football, and we can do our best. And in most cases, coaches don't win games, they can lose them. And that was the case. How do you address your coaching staff in the 2-minute meeting after the first half ends? You get considerations, your bench, the philosophy of your bench, fair play, train to train, long-term athlete development. You can talk for an hour on that, everybody talk for an hour on it. But it's a gut-wrenching situation. Points against, so we want to play Tier 1, well, we got to keep it down to 0 then. We had to, in the case of those games, is say we're going with 3 guys playing both ways, but as soon as that ball goes inside the 35, going into our end zone, there's 6 guys playing 2 ways, gentlemen. So the way you stay on the field is keep them outside of our 35. But we are at that stage in competitive development. We are playing to win. Anybody else want to talk about any other considerations? Bring them up, examples.
In that scenario, it depends on who I'm playing. If
Sometimes
it's the West, I'm gonna get the backups in, 'cause I like their head coach. If it's Bayview, no, we're
No.
coming out throwing that bad boy. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I guess.
there's old rivalries, all of
100%.
those things, that's another consideration.
And, like, you could use 16 as an example, so that would fall under the minor ball around here. Football Nova Scotia's actually taken the points, 4 points against out of the play. It's like 7th and 8th thing to break the tie. Coin flip is before it now. So you don't have teams running up 65, 70 points against a team with none. It's one of the nicer things we've done.
And we have a fair play rule.
Well, that's always part of
That's
it.
all enveloped in that, I mean, that's good, I don't,
Cause if kids don't get on the field, they don't learn. They can't.
they don't stay with the sport.
That 35-0 minor, that's the final
That's
score.
for sure.
It doesn't go any further.
Mhm.
You can score 20 more points, it's still 35.
It may be jacked up there up on the scoreboard, but the score ends at 35.
Open the floor for discussion, and I'll put this up here to. There's one that I pulled out. Gomox Valley Raiders. Billmore Park versus White Rock.
So do you have an individual person per game, or is it just for the season?
Michelle was the charge person for the season. She was also, a Red Cross medical level, I can't remember what the level was, but I have the 2 full day thing, and she was significantly higher than that.
Cause I have paramedics and everything on firefighters and MFers and coroners, so at every level, right? Just
I did have the 2-day first aid thing, so I was the backup on that. And I did get a scolding. We had someone, that, you know, a lot of times we'll say, well, we'll let that slide, you know? He doesn't have his making headway. He doesn't have safe contact. He's got no NCCP accreditation, and he's helping us coach. Well, we can let that slide. Don't. Okay? How long ago was it, right? Was it 2 years ago that guy teed off on me in the sideline? We've had this guy coaching with us, and I presume he played football. I'm not the head coach. We went to an away game, and ironically, it was White Rock, but it was at their field. And this guy's coaching with us. And I didn't rip a strip off of my slot back, but one of the things I have a bug about is when we run a jet sweep, the way we run them, he's no longer a set of eyes. The only thing he uses his eyes for is to get into the proper relation to his lead block. He's not snapping his head, looking upfield, looking for a lane. And this guy was a great athlete and tried to do it, and as soon as he snaps his head upfield, he goes from 5th gear to 4th. And he loses his relationship to his lead blocker, and the play goes for 2 or 3 yards instead of 7 or 8. Well, this other coach, he just come unglued and he's dropping F-bombs, I'm gonna punch the shit out of you and this and that, and I'm just taken aback. Like, when we're about to get into a fight.
He said
no,
to the kid?
No, he said to me.
Oh.
When you're about to get in a fight and somebody's about to, he's there and that, we get that fight or flight instinct. Well, I guess I'm getting dumb in my old age because it never even triggered with me. It's just the rational part of me said, this can't be for real. I'm just, what? You give my head a shake, he took a step back, and a couple other coaches stepped in and grabbed him and cooled him off, or whatever. And I agreed, I guess later that day, or with the head coach that, well, we'll let it go. It's water under the bridge, we'll let it go. And Ryan's older brother's a PhD, a professor at Indiana, good football player, fantastic football player. But I always talk to him about those kind of things, and he said, boy, that's not like you to allow that. He should be gone. That's it. There's no, he's done. What you getting soft in your old age? He should be gone. Well, of course, it was done, it was said. And he did it again 2 weeks later to the head coach. Actually swung at him. And he had no NCCP accreditation. We come to find out that he's working out in his gym with that kid, that sweeper, that I was chastising. So he was grooming him. That's why he teed off. It all came together. Holy shit, are we blind here or are we stupid? He had no NCCP certification. You have no recourse against that man. Anything you want to do to him, you're gonna be having your neck hung in the noose, put in the noose. They say you gotta report, you gotta talk, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. Well, it's all a load of bullshit from my perspective, because I went through 3 weeks trying to get some recourse on it. You can't, there's nothing you can do. The only thing he could have done is if he'd have had his NCCP certifications, and as you could have wrote them, and that would have nullified it. They'd have blackmarked it. That would have been the only recourse you had, so get it, make sure your guys at least have it.